And today we're talking about the Spread the Word
to End the Word Day on March 4th.
Yep. So Spread the Word, the To End the Word campaign, if you haven't heard of it, it's a really awesome campaign that is focused on stopping the use of the R word. And we obviously don't like to use the R word, but there are some people who don't know what that is. And it's the words retard or retarded.
Yep.
And obviously that is a word that sometimes is used in everyday language, and it needs to stop because that word has so many connotations, negative connotations, and it's often used as a replacement for stupid, which for people with intellectual disabilities, it's just
very hurtful.
Yeah.
And it will just make them really sad, and that word just makes them feel like they sort of don't belong with anybody, sort of thing. And so we're making it positive and changing the R word to respect.
Yeah.
So, and respect is a much better R word than the
R word.
yeah, than the R word that we don't want to say because it's very hurtful. And respect is a much better word because, like, when it's respect, then like everybody is happy and everybody feels like they get to belong, and
like you said to Tim Shriver, that everyone gets a place at the table.
Yes, like Tim Shriver said, or everybody gets to do what they love without being told what they can or cannot do.
Yeah,
basically.
It's all about inclusion, which is obviously our purpose in life. But by using what we call people first language, which is like he has an intellectual disability instead of he is disabled, or like my cousin Mitch has Down syndrome. He isn't Down syndrome. That's not his defining characteristic.
Yeah.
And so people first language and respectful language is just, it's how to be a respectful human being and a good human being, which is what we're all trying to do, right?
Yes.
And so Spread the Word is incredible. You can get it involved in schools. That's been a question that's popped a lot on our Q&As.
Yep.
And when you get involved in schools, you can like have a poster and have people sign to pledge to spread the word to end the word. And it seems just like a little thing, just like one signature, but just by having that poster in your school shows that you're trying.
And also you can do assemblies and talk about basically what spread the word is, and like tell your classmates like what spread the word is all about and how you can get involved and all these different things. You can even have a spread the word, end the word week.
Totally.
And that will still be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, my cousin actually did a spread the word assembly at an elementary school, and he had them all chant like spread the word to end the word, and it was so cool. And like just like the power of hearing those words in an elementary school, because obviously I'm going to be a teacher and I will wax on about this until I die. But like children really are our future, so if we can teach them at a young age to use respectful language, it'll blossom into a much more inclusive generation, which is what we're all about.
Yep.
Yeah. And also for Spread the Word, it's great to post on social media, which it's really our new form of communication. So it's you can Google spreadtheword.global/pledge, and that is where you can take the pledge to say I will not use the R word.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And another topic we wanted to talk about today is a trending hashtag that's been going around, and it's called
Diary of a Disabled Kid.
And it's a really interesting hashtag. If you look it up, it's on Twitter, and it's trending, obviously. And it's talking about stories of people who are disabled. And, you know, a lot of the stories are really, really negative, which is true because there's a lot of stigma with having a disability. But then also we have a lot of positive stories that we need to be spreading. Like, look at this amazing goddess of a woman who, I mean, like, went to Abu Dhabi to freaking celebrate inclusion. Just every day, I'm just honestly so inspired by you. I'm serious. And so with like Diary of a Disabled Kid, I think it's great, and I think it's really awesome. We're spreading these stories. We also need to focus on spreading the positive.
Yep.
What do you think?
I agree with you there.
Yeah. And it's very true though. Honestly, one thing we really have to focus on in the disability community is listening to people's stories. And that way we know how to make change and accessibility and education. Mm-hmm. And now we are going to do our Q&A section. And we got a lot of questions on Instagram. I was actually surprised.
Yes.
So we are just going to do a couple of our favorite ones.
Yeah.
Well, not favorite, but also favorite. Here's one from @thatdude072. Who's your favorite person named Ray?
Who you think, Ray?
Robert Rayford. Nope. Ray Roberts, the man. A full shout out there. First podcast. He was our first podcast.
Yep, and we appreciated it.
And another shout out. We have 3 separate questions from this person @PodmanDan. Who inspired you to produce a podcast? It was you. That you may not know that.
You already know that.
Your favorite podcast you listen to? Special Chronicles. Woo! Favorite guest you had on your podcast? We cannot answer that because we love them all equally.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then this one is a question specifically for Natalie. This is from Mrs. Cakes 98. How do you avoid being attacked by a wild moose beast?
Well, you stay away from them, Gina. You stay away from them, Gina. If you go up to them, then they're just gonna charge you at you. And I know you don't want that, Gina. So, if you don't want moose beasts, stay away from moose beasts.
You heard her. You heard the woman. Another question is, why is people first language important? Which we talked about. It's all about respect, and it's all about, just like the name, putting people first, because we're all humans first, and the rest of who we are follows that. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. This is a question from my friend Ian, he's really great. It's, what is your opinion on differently abled people's portrayal in novels and movies? So, what do you think?
Well, I mean, some movies, TV shows, they do a really good job representing like people with disabilities, and there's some movies and shows that do horrible.
Yeah.
That could do horrible at it.
Yeah.
Like
Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah.
That's obviously an amazing.
That's an example of a amazing movie with a kid with Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like two TV shows I know is that like The Good Doctor on ABC. They have a really good representation of a adult with autism and being a doctor with a professional job. And then also on ABC is now canceled now, but they did a really good job with Speechless, because they actually had a kid who had cerebral palsy star in this film, and basically I thought it was a really good job.
Yeah. I think one thing that's really important in novels and movies that like these films did really well is casting people with the disability who are playing this disability and also like consulting with them.
Yeah, not having the able-bodied
Yes,
person.
definitely. And
an example for an able-bodied movie is I can name on top of my head is Me Before You.
oh yes, that's like it's a good love story, not a good portrayal of disability.
Yeah.
Another one that I've actually had a problem with is the TV show Monk. I don't know if you've heard of that one. So the guy in it, he has OCD, which I have OCD, so hits close to home. So maybe I'm too sensitive, but a lot of it's talking about how he's a detective and he has OCD, and that makes him an amazing detective. And he's an able-bodied person doing that, or able-minded person in that situation. And I just feel like, I mean, personally, when my OCD was the worst, I would have been a horrible detective. So it's different for each person, but also OCD isn't a lot about perfectionism.
Yeah.
It's more about these routines that you have to go through. And like, I mean, I would check the door 100 times a night because I was worried Ernie would get out. Ernie's my dog. And so I just think with movies and novels, you really have to talk to the people who are dealing with the issue. And obviously, this is more of an example of invisible disabilities. And the more pressing issue is having able-bodied people.
Yeah, just able bodies are wrong, man. Because
yes.
Wrong on something.
We need that on a t-shirt. Like. So yeah, that's a really good one. Another really good example of a movie. My friend Ian, who asked this question, he's autistic and he is also my favorite person. Shout out to you, Ian. But there's this new Pixar short called Loop.
Yes.
And it's so cool. It's talking about an autistic girl and on a school trip, and it's so amazing. So check that out. I think that one's a really good one. Sorry, we spent a little too much time on that. Here's a question. How is the podcast going to be run while you're on your mission? So
that's a great question.
So if you haven't heard, I'm going on my mission to Houston, Texas.
Yeah!
And so we are going to do a new segment called Dad and Nat Podcast, or Nat Special. And so it's going to have Greg and Nat, and they're going to continue the podcast, and it's going to be so good. I'm so excited.
We're still going to be called KatnNat, but while she's out roading it up in Houston, we're staying, and it's going to be me and my dad. So,
and hopefully I'll be able to like send in some videos too, and like be like, hey, this is what's going on in Houston.
What you're going to see in replacement of Katie is this.
Oh, I love it.
So we'll have
always with KatnNat podcast.
We'll have this llama when me and my dad talk.
Love it.
So we can have a little piece of Katie when she's not here.
Oh. Now we have to do a break for like a 10-minute hug. And so yeah, that's how that's gonna work. And then let's see. I think we have time for one more question.
Yeah.
Actually, I would like to insert a question from my grandmother. Katie, do you have a boyfriend yet? No, Grandma, stop asking. Okay, she wrote that on here. Okay. Who inspires you the most? That's a good question to end on.
Yeah, I have a lot of inspirations, so it's hard to choose. Because I have amazing special education teachers that have inspired me every day, and then I've met so many different people that inspire me. It's just hard to choose just one because they're all so amazing.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And like it's so hard to choose because I mean, obviously Nat inspires me every day. I'm just gonna throw that out there. My mother, she is a big inspiration for me, and my father as well. My both of them are really, really inclusive people, and that's been I'm really grateful for in my life. And Greg and Angela inspire me too. They're so great.
Yes.
And
a special shout out to Judy Hutt and Jeff Scott.
Jeff Scott. No one knows his name.
And Greg and Angela Green.
Yeah.
My mom and pop.
Yeah. And another. Oh,
well, I was just gonna say they inspire me every day to try my best and do better. And if it wasn't for my mom and dad, they would have not taken. They basically taken care of me since I was diagnosed with epilepsy, and I really appreciate all the stuff they do for me.
Yeah. Whoever asked this question is like, you want to bring out the waterworks? Come on.
Yes.
But and another really inspiring person is actually someone who's advocated for disability rights that we both really like. Her name's Melissa Blake.
Oh yes.
And she is so cool. She's the one who she came out with the viral tweet of my best selfie.
Yes.
Hashtag my best selfie. And her whole thing was like going against the haters. And she's a journalist. She's published and she's amazing. And her Instagram just, it's so amazing. She's really positive and also brings up the issues in the disability community.
Yeah, she can make you laugh and cry.
All the tears.
Yes, she can make you have a laugh attack. Or she can have you bring up
robots.
Or she can have you bust out the waterworks. So
yeah, and an inspiration to all of you who watch. Gotta put that plug in there because honestly, you guys are inspiring. You guys are listening to us talk for
like an hour or 5 hours.
We've had how many podcasts? 5, 6?
4
podcasts, and you've listened to every single one, and we love you for that,
and we appreciate you. Oh.
So this is KatnNat signing off, and
we out.
Bye.
Bye.